want me to get any hoes. Not a single person wanted the fucking sex 'em all playthrough. All y'all wanted was lore. The EB Games community does not care about sex. They only care about lore. Guys, you're not cucking me. You're cucking him. You want to cuck me? Why would you want to cuck me? This is so rude. Why won't you let me have bitches? Have I not? What did I do to be maidenless? Welcome in though, everybody. So, if you saw the schedule on Twitter, the original plan was we were gonna play Cyberpunk and we were gonna actually start Phantom Liberty. We were actually going to do that and get more than two. Thank you, I deserve it. Let's give it up for Evie forgot to update the game before stream. Evie forgot to update the game before stream. And then I tried to update it and it said it would take 2 hours. I was like, hey. So that's what happened. You can hit me. It's okay. I deserve it. So instead, we're going to do what I do best. And that's rim. We're going to rim the sky. You know what? That's what I'm known for. And that's what I'm going to do. So, we are going to continue with our trend of having Skyrim Sunday on not just Sunday, by continuing the Vanya playthrough, which is our Legacy of the Dragonborn themed playthrough, our completionist playthrough, and the playthrough based off one of the main characters in my book, which, by the way, book update, I'm not going to be able to release Chapter 3 this week, but my goal is to release it next week. I probably won't have an illustration with this one just because I have to pay $1,700 more than I thought I did to the IRS. Thank you so much for the 14 months. Oh, I got the Charmander wax melt in the mail. Thank you again for that. It doesn't smell like what I thought Charmander would smell like, but it smells really good. It's like a subtle cinnamon. Like a lot of wax melts, they just like butt fuck you with cinnamon, and like I'm not into that. I want it to be like subtle. This was like subtle cinnamon. It was very, very nice. Took 9 minutes to install Cyberpunk and Phantom. Well, good for you. No, I'm kidding. So you got all the knowledge she wants and the harem just happens. That's the thing, is Vanya is the epitome of, well, you were getting bitches, I was studying magic. I was studying the blade. I mean, like, she does get one bitch, right? If you remember one of my old playthroughs, Severin, our flower boy, she does get with him later on. Minor spoilers, but it's also, that's not gonna happen until like 5 or 6 more chapters in. But I am hoping I can release Skyrim most days. I guess, I don't know, do we just commit and call myself a Skyrim streamer now? Like, do I update my Twitter bio and just commit to the bit? Like, not, what does it say right now? What does it say? I think it says, let me see. Fantasy RPG streamer. Do we just make a Skyrim streamer at this point? Like, I don't mind. You know, I like streaming Skyrim. It's just like, I want to play other stuff too. It's just this always happens. This always happens. But that's okay. I do really like Skyrim. Keep me gripped to reality. I don't know, man. I don't know. Well, I don't know. I don't think I'm like the most schizophrenic out of like all the VTubers I know. I'd say I'm like mildly schizophrenic, only a little delusional as a treat. You know, just a little, you know. So let's get going and let's start rimming, right? We need to rim. Like, say that in like the Walter White, like, chat, we need to rim. I can't do a Walter White impression. That's probably because I'm not a man. But, you know, I tried. Jesse, we need to cook. I need to finish Breaking Bad. I started watching it with you guys. I started watching it with the community. And I asked you guys if we wanted to continue, and a bunch of people were like, I don't know, Evie, this show's kind of depressing. We watch you for like good vibes and sillies. This is just sad. And I was like, you know what? Fair enough. And then we started watching Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, which, do we still want to watch that, by the way, for our community movie nights? Because we started doing, like, I feel like with series, I feel bad doing series for, like, community stuff because I always get really busy and then we have to abandon them. So we've been watching movies lately. We watched the Disney 9/11 movie the other week, and it was very, I don't want to say it was entertaining, but it was an interesting journey. We'll call it that. She's dead set on getting her knowledge. Everyone wants to visit. Honestly, I could see that, because, like, Vanya is objectively attractive. She's very pretty. You know, hold on. Girl, get your candlelight on. Get your Skyrim rim light on. There you go. She's very pretty. She kind of has RBF, but that was intentional. I kind of wanted her to have some resting bitch face. Because if you're at the book editing stream, you'll know she's kind of a bitch. Like, she has her reasons, but nonetheless, you know, but she's pretty, you know. So basically what I need to find, and I'm actually gonna do a quick Google search because I said I would look this up before next stream, but the next stream became a lot faster than I thought it would be. So I need to Google where the display is for the Anatomancer's pipe because I want to finish the Anatomancer quest because it looked really interesting. So I'm gonna look it up, Legacy of the Dragonborn, and see if it can just tell me where it is so I don't have to wander around the museum like an idiot. Let's see. I don't think it says it. Is there a way to, like, because isn't it from the mod Vigilant? Isn't that what the Anatomancer is from, or am I stupid? Am I thinking of something else? I might be thinking of something else. Let me see. Just looking over it. Defeat Molag Bal. Okay, apparently Molag Bal is involved. Good for him, I guess. Maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of something different. I'm just scrolling through the Legacy of the Dragonborn wiki page real quick. Let's see. I don't see anything with that. Okay, that gives us our answer. So maybe we'll find that later because I don't want to take up a bunch of time just wandering around. If anyone knows where the Anatomancer's pipe is in the museum, please let me know because I do want to do that quest. It's just I accidentally put it away. That was I didn't mean for my camera to center there, but oh well. Let me see, just double check. Like, do I actually, you know what I'm wondering? I'm wondering if I put it in the safe house like an idiot. Because I remember I took a bunch of weapons and were like, these look cool, but they don't have a display. And I put them in my safe house because I thought they were neat, you know? So I'm wondering if maybe it's there. So we'll check there. We'll see if there's anything else we need to unload because we are carrying 400 pounds. So we should probably lighten the load just a wee bit, just a tad. Oh, hey, bro. Thanks, man. But I think we'll be okay. So last time, what did we do last time? It was literally only a few days ago, but I already forgot. I know we did finish one of the museum quests. We did finish all the shit getting stolen from the museum and getting it back. So our museum was thieved and then we got it back. So that's cool. So let me see if it's over here in the safe house because I put a lot of shit on the safe house display kits. I also am wondering, did I leave it with somebody? Did I leave it with a follower? So if we can't find it there, we'll check our followers, and if our followers don't have it, we're just gonna assume it's been displayed somewhere. Because I know I didn't get rid of it. I know I didn't sell it. If I did, that'd be really stupid, but I don't think I did. I'm like 99% sure it had a display. So let's head into the safe house and see what's going on. Let's see. Oh, right, it'd be in this one. Yeah, because I was actually looking for more places to display some of my swords and shit. Let's see. Anything here? How do I grab my weapon? Nodachi, Sword of the Deity, Magus Staff, Yari. Let's see, these are just basic ass staffs. Honestly, I can get rid of these. They're so basic. I don't need them, you know? Let's see. Aha! Now we can do a war crime. Okay, so let me see if there's anything else that we can display here. So like the Eastern Daedric Katana, that was cool as shit. That can go up there. Anything else? Also, we have some stuff to disenchant. Yeah, Hagrim's Light. Okay, these are basic ass staffs. I literally don't need them. I don't know why I have them.
It's good to have somewhere like this.
That's not what I want to do. Left weapon rack. Any other weapons to display? The scimitar isn't good. I just thought it looked neat. I'm gonna be honest with you. Anything else there that's really cool? Doesn't look like it. There is a display for that weapon for the Anatomancer's pipe. Okay, I'll have to check that then. So let me see here. We'll put that there. And let's go. Oh, the light one. Okay, well, good thing I didn't. Yeah, we'll put that above the fireplace then. Use arcane enchanter. I think we do have some stuff to disenchant, so then we'll put that away. Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need. Don't need. Don't need. Cool. Yeah, because I think that's why I kept this, because it had a funky name. So I was like, oh, then it must go somewhere. It was Staff of the Sun. Okay. Let's see. Where we go? Is that one or the? Yeah. Okay. Let me see above the fireplace. What does that say? In the living room. Oh, Hagrim's light. Oh, that one. Okay, I thought you meant light like this one has a little light coming from. I see. I see. Okay. Well, then we'll take this one. Come on, give it back. Give it back. Where did I put it? Oh, here we go. Yeah, give it back. Aha. Okay, there we go. And then we'll just put this one away for now. There we go. All right, and then let's see. All right. Nice. Okay, that does look really cool. I like that a lot. Okay. Now we're down to 364. Some of this stuff I think I just kept it because it looked cool, not because I actually needed it. A lot of our inventory space is admittedly bones. So we'll have to conjure some boners up, I think. But now that we have the Anatomancer's pipe, now we can, Thank you for the link, Leo. Let's see. You're the woman before they think I'm scared. I'm not the most schizophrenic VTuber. We're just slowly getting there. Okay, let's do the Anatomancer quest, because that's the big thing. So it says snatch a two-legged sheep. So I need to go beat up a child, because apparently, according to the quest marker, that's what that means. So let's get the handy, beaten stick out. Oh, God. You know, I don't think there's any joke here that I can say that makes me look good. I don't think there's any way I walk out of this quest not looking like a dick. But, you know, like I said, we talked about this last stream. Would Vanya kill a child? Okay, her as a character. Not me. Her as a character. And we were like, you know, we thought on it. She would feel really bad. But if it was for, like, a dark ritual or something, she'd feel bad. She'd regret it. I do think she'd do it. That's why I like playing Skyrim as, like, my OCs, as, like, my Pathfinder characters, stuff like that. Because even though the world that your novel or your game takes place in may be different than Skyrim, may not be exactly the same as, like, your setting, I do feel like it gives you a chance to explore your character's personality in the sense of, like, how would they respond to different moral choices? How would they respond to different options presented to them? And that can kind of help you determine the personality of a character a whole lot. And kind of like, that's what I used to do before I streamed. Whenever I had a new D&D campaign or Pathfinder campaign I would play in, that's literally what I would do, is I would play, I would make my characters, so I'd have a picture of them. And then I would just, like, play the game a little bit as those characters.
Need something? You're looking at me like you've never heard that cheer before.
Need something?
I can't beat up this child in broad daylight.
Hey.
Okay, well now I gotta be weird. Okay, what is that lady doing? Why was that lady squaring up? Hey, I'm trying to do a dark ritual. What are you doing? Okay, I don't think anyone in my party is gonna... I mean, well, okay, what happens if I... Because it's a magic weapon, right? So, is it just gonna... Because apparently it just paralyzes him. Can I not beat him? Let me hit him. Oh! Okay, yeah, that... Okay. Well, now we know what happens. Okay. So we're not killing a child, we're just paralyzing a child, which, is not much better, but, okay, so it is a staff, though. I really just thought I was gonna just beat the shit out of this child. Okay, let's wait till he walks to somewhere not as, I don't know, in the middle of the fucking town. And we'll see what's going on there. Hello, Nick. Welcome to stream. I'm about to kidnap a child.
Potions.
I can't. Yeah. Okay. Let's.
Oh,
Hey, buddy.
Do you have anything with gum?
Yeah. Tag. You're it.
expensive.
Wow. Great start this stream. Not even 30 minutes in.
do something.
Wait. What?
I guess now
Oh wait. They're distracted. They're distracted. They're distracted. Oh, not my chance. Not my chance. Perfect. Oh wait. Fuck. They didn't. It's fine. It's fine. All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We're good. We're good. We're good. You don't see me? You don't see me? You don't see me? You don't see me? Nope. 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 Wait. Hold on. Do I just have a child in my inventory? Hold on. Let me try that again because I think I can do that better. I jumped the gun on that, but hold on. I want to see something. I would like to see something.
There's someone I like
Okay.
very much in Riften.
All right, let's wait for. Hopefully that event triggers where someone's like robbing someone in broad daylight again. We just know that we have to like be
The
chill.
Greybeards
Okay.
have summoned the Dragonborn
We'll
to
just
fight
follow him a little bit. Hopefully someone starts robbing someone or shooting someone, and then he'll run away, and then we can follow him. Then I think we should be cool.
Tell you what.
Someone do something.
Oh, that's what that lady was doing. I was like, why is she in stealth? What's going on? And then she was robbing someone.
Sheathe your weapons and come quietly.
Okay. Okay, I think. Do we have a potion of invisibility or anything like that? No. Do I have any spells that will make me turn invisible? I think I have a shout. Phantom form. I don't know if phantom form would work. Either way, he's running. Okay, come on, where are you going? Get the way out of the people. Come this way. Come this way. No, fuck. Okay. God damn it. I don't know if there's an easy way for me to do this because there's so many people around. Even with the, and I have like no points in stealth either. Do I have any like spells that could help me here? Courage, fade other. Target's invisible. I can't cast that on myself. Muffle, maybe? We could wait till it's nighttime. That might work. What time is it right now? 1:53. Let's just... Okay, everyone. Don't be suspicious for 8 hours. Just be, like, really chill for 8 hours until the sun goes down. Okay, I think... Yeah, we're good. Okay. Alright, where's he at? Oh, there's a guard right there. Okay, where are you going?
Say a silent prayer
Where we
for
drop
her.
it? Where we drop
Please
it?
come by soon.
Not
Okay,
for
yes,
me.
go in the crowd of
But for
a shit
yourself.
ton of people. Fantastic.
You're
You
a
love to
stranger
see
here
it.
too, huh?
I'll try.
Need something?
Yes, I need you to go over there. Update too long or EV progress. Listen, usually when I update games, it takes me like 15, 20 minutes at most. This shit took like 3 hours, and I was like, okay. Like, I'll delay stream by like, what? Like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. That's fine. I'm not gonna wait an hour, so I was like, fuck. Skyrim. Well, welcome in, Rose. Okay, I think now would be here. We just need the guard to go away, and I need my homies to be really chill. Where'd he go? Oh fuck, I lost him. Over here. Okay, this is not good. Okay, he's over here now though. Let's see. Aha. Okay, this should be perfect. There's a guard right there. I think I can be. He sees me. God damn it! How was I still caught? Okay, fine. Wait, what? Yeah. Okay.
Someone there?
Okay. There we go. Oh shit. Nope. Actually, hold on. Fuck. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We're gonna do Thieves Guild later anyway, so it's fine. Wait, why am I not moving fast? Wait, what's my carry weight? Wait, how? Okay, I'm not over cucumbered. Why am I moving so slow? Okay, there we go. Get me out of here. Get me out of here. Okay, where do I need to go? I did want to see, like, is it gonna add the child to my inventory or some shit? Can I accidentally, like, lose him or something? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, where do I need to be? Where do I need to be? Okay, return to the, well, where the fuck is he? Where's the fucking Anatomancer? Oh, shit. Is he in Riften? No, it doesn't look like it. Okay. Well, no. Oh, he sure is, isn't he? Oh, great. Okay. Oh, brother. This guy stinks. Okay, fine. Can I wait out my bounty? I mean, it's only 200 gold. I can pay that, but then they're gonna wait. If I pay the bounty, are they gonna want the child back? Like, hold on. Let's try this again, because I can pay a bounty. You know, I can do that. Hi, Faye. Welcome to the stream. I kidnapped the child for flesh magic purposes because of the anatomancer told me to. No, wrong save. Wrong save. Okay, let's try this one again. Okay, we're gonna... Okay, kidnap the child and then pay the bounty. Because, like, 200 gold's fine. Like, I've got 200 gold, I'm pretty sure. Watch, I'm gonna check my fucking inventory and I don't. But that's okay. Let's see, how much we got? Yeah, we have like 6,000. Okay, it's fine. Alright, wait. I'm surprised I didn't save after I waited. And then let's see if we can just... bloop. But that's what the quest wanted me to do. The quest said snatch a two-legged sheep. And I guess that means a child. I guess. I was like... Damn, where am I gonna find one of those? Alright, let's see. Do I have any spells that will be useful here? Target's invisible? Yeah, but activating an object, that'll break it. Muffle might be good. Let's do that. Actually, this
We
is
get
a
caught.
good...
We cannot let them have our files.
So this is a good spot, actually, if he does wander over here. Okay, hold on.
You should probably take off then.
Looks like he might be coming this way. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. My fucking followers are in the way. Is he coming this way? Shit! Come here! This song sounds like Adrian Von Ziegler. I think it is actually, yeah. One of the mods in here is his collection of music. Yeah, because usually if you cannot breathe in white one, it said this one specifically, so I don't know what's going on there. I'm wondering, like, maybe if they don't see me cast a spell, like, bro, can you move, like, can you, like, skedaddle a little bit? Oh, everyone can see me. I'm not trying to be weird. I'm just, he wants me to do that. I'm just, not being weird, I'm just being evil, like. Maybe if I do it from the shadows. Oh, that's a whole ass guy. Okay, where's he going? Okay, here we go, here we go. He's moving, he's moving. Why don't you have shoes on? Like, unrelated, why are your toes
Welcome.
out?
How fast can you get your hands on some longbows?
Why are her toes
I don't
out?
usually deal in weapons, but...
Oh, what's up with that?
Hold on, you mind paying a little extra to get them fast? I don't care what it costs. I need 4 longbows, 4
God damn it. Okay, you know what? I'll pay the bounty. I'll pay the bounty. Give me that real quick.
What was that?
Give me that. Whatever you guys want. Here, I'll surrender. I'll surrender. I'll surrender. Oh, okay. Good.
I've suffered worse than
I just leave? He's over. Alright, well, we're gonna go over here. Wait, 10,000 bounty? Oh, it's actually my girl. Where is he? Oh, I need to go into the... Okay, into the tunnel. Into the tunnel. Woo! There's gotta be an easier way to do this. Okay, because he's always in fucking broad daylight. So I'm like... Can I not just, like... Because last time they asked me to pay the bounty, and I said, no! And I was like, okay, because the fucking guy is in the rat way. Welcome in, Yora. I'm trying to kidnap this child for a Daedric Lord. Or I think he's a Daedric Lord. I think it's related to Daedra. It may not be. He might just be evil for the hell of it. But it's not going very well. Because the one other thing I was thinking of is we do have the Phantom Form shout. I'm wondering... How does that work? Why am I naked? Okay, well,
Of course. Say, how are you going to sell all those?
well, she's not naked. At least she has clothes on. Can you, like... Can she do anything? Act as a decoy? Okay, well, maybe...
Protect yourself right.
Let's,
Buy armor from Relka.
hey, check this out. Wait till I guess it's not charged up again. Let me just,
Why take a chance?
Yeah, there's a lot of people that see me. I'm just like thinking. Can I just put her like in the middle of the...
Think! The Thum! She summons the Thum!
Yeah, can you fuck off for a second? Okay, well he's on the move.
To tell about it.
Cat! Hi! Petting stray cats is a risky business as you don't know what these cats have been through. Okay, that's fair. Be ready to receive... Hi, Morgan. Were you near the White One Watchtower? How did you run into... or did you run... I don't think so. I'm not sure, actually. I don't remember. Be ready to receive a vicious warning from certain cats and be aware they may carry all sorts of nasty diseases. Petting strays does have the advantage of increasing relations with strays more open to such attention. Okay, well he does not want pets. That's okay. That's okay. Leave him be. Leave him be. Leave him be. It's cool. It's fine. Alright, anyway.
Before they're gone.
I guess we, wait, why is it not letting me use my weapon?
Looking to stay alive.
Hello? Okay, now my weapon, it says it's out,
Highest quality in Sky.
but it won't let me use it now. Okay, let's maybe try waiting. Okay, now all kinds of things are happening, but hey, at least we know the cat mod is working. Unrelated. Where is it? Yeah, see, it's not showing anything now. Okay, this is fucked up. Let's try it one more time. And we'll see what happens. Okay, we're gonna just fucking wait till nighttime, see what happens. We found the cat, that's cool. And then we're gonna see if we can do this stealthily. No, this isn't working. Let me try unequipping it and re-equipping it. Okay, we've got that right hook going. Okay, I have my beaten stick now. Perfect, okay. Alright, follow the child. See where he goes. Maybe we can like figure out his routine, you know what I mean? Because I remember him standing over here. Okay, let's wait for like that long, because then it should get dark by then it should be easier to kidnap him. Let's see, maybe wait till like 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, okay. And now we quick save so I don't have to do that again. I remembered. Okay. Alright, where are you heading? Where are we dropping? I need everyone to go to bed. Why? It's like midnight. Go away.
Ow, ow, ow.
What?
Cramp.
Okay, I don't care. I'm busy.
I wanted to talk about that
Okay.
seeds of lemon.
Can
I run the meat and produce stand at the market.
Shit.
Come by and see.
He's
You want
right
some
by a
fresh
fucking
food?
street lamp.
Why should I pay for a
I need
repair
my
on something
followers
I
to
just
chill
bought?
out.
Need something?
No.
All right. Just bring it to me tomorrow and I'll fix it for you.
Can I like listen? If I could get her to like cause a distraction and like whip her
City
pussy
of
out in the town
1,000
square, then maybe
suspicious
that would
smells.
get everyone to fuck
Perhaps
off.
I'll write a book about it one day.
I mean, that would be a
From a
strat.
distance,
They
that
did
is.
it in the SpongeBob movie. I mean, not like that, as in like they caused a distraction to like get everyone to fuck off. Okay, let's do this real quick. All right, muffle, and then this. Hi, Vader. Welcome in. I'm the motherfucker. Can
The Greybeards have summoned the
away.
Dragonborn to High Rothgar.
That's great.
Such a thing
That's
has not happened for
fantastic. I
hundreds
don't
of
give a
years.
fuck. Where is he? Okay, he's still. Where'd he go? Okay, he's still over there. If I hide behind the bulletin board, okay, there's only a few. God damn it! Okay, fine. All right, we're running
What was that?
to the rat way. Oh, here we go. Maybe I can just pay it off.
Learn how to fight.
What say you in your defense?
I'll pay off my bounty.
Smart woman. Now come along with us.
Okay.
We'll take any stolen goods and you'll be free to go. After you pay the fine, of course. Mm-hmm.
Well, they didn't take any stolen goods. So I still have the... Okay, they didn't take the child. They saw me do something weird, but they didn't... Okay, how much does that weigh? How does this child weigh 0 pounds? Hmm. Maybe he's on Ozempic. I don't know. All right, let's see. Now that we, that was... Okay, that worked out. clearly the answer is just be open and honest, you know?
Yes.
If you do something fucked up, just tell the truth and you'll get away with it. Oh god. Lots of life lessons on stream tonight. For legal reasons, EB Games does not condone the kidnapping of children. Kidnapping children is bad. This is all jokes. It is a video game. It is not real. Just for legal reasons. Last thing I want is someone to be like, well, you know, EB Games actually, I'm a big fan of kidnapping children. No! I'm doing what the quest says. Alright, hey, bro. Wait, now place the sack into the grinder. Oh, boy. Okay. Karma lost. So what does the karma mean? Can I see my karma? I don't think I can. It just says karma lost. I don't know what that means. Yeah, it's probably not good because I'm, you know. It's, yeah, this is... It's certainly not doing me any favors. Yeah, that's what I say while I'm about to grind a child to their death.
That lexicon Septimus gave us.
Now is not the time for
it must be
info
some kind
dumping,
of
Lucian!
information storage device, but quite how it works.
Now is...
I wish I could see.
Not the time. Oh boy. Wow. Now what? What? It's so beautiful to me. I can smell the future, as sharp as a jewel. What does this tell you? This is the future that lies ahead. Come on, put this on. You will hear the song of life. Is he gonna give me a funky hat? Cause I'd like to listen to the song of life. Okay. He says this is the... He said put this on, so I'm like, is it a... Where's the song of life? Oh, what? What do you want me to do? Oh, okay. Listen to the... Okay, yeah, this is what fucking mod is this? Because... This is wild. Ah, the song of life is just the squelching of human organs. Oh, wait, hold on. Cutscene? What the fuck? Well, at least I have party hats on. Oh my god. You know what this screams to me? You know what this is great for, actually? Hold up. I know that we're surrounded by human gore and viscera, but let me take a selfie. Slay. Oh wait, actually I have a better place to do it. Hold on. We need to make sure the lighting's good. So let's try it, wait, right here. Oh yeah. Hold on. Oh my god, okay. Yes! Slay! Slay your enemies, queen! Okay, did I press a button? There we go. Oh wait, wrong button. Okay, TFC, enter. Was the sound the screams of death? It sounds like it. And that's tonight's thumbnail, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my god. What has Vanya getting herself into? So what Vanya's about to, hold on, actually, wait, another screenshot. If you hear me do each screenshot twice, it's because I haven't fixed my toggles yet, so it's like, oh yeah, worship me. And Lydia's there, I guess, too. That's cool as well. Can we, oh yeah. Beautiful. Vanya's about to learn a life lesson that to gain immense power, you're gonna have to do some fucked up shit, and is it really worth it? I think she would probably have some second thoughts now. Hi, Rainbow. For everyone coming into the stream, you might be wondering, what the fuck are we looking at? Well, we sacrificed a child, and now we're listening to the Song of Life. Love, I and we, the fourth kind of philosophy that uses nothing but disbelief. Let us sing a song together, the Song of Life. Okay. Here's the thing with Vanya, though, right? I feel like Vanya would do it, right? I feel like she'd feel immense regret, but she'd... Actually, I think she'd need to be convinced, right? I think she genuinely need to be convinced, but she would do it if properly convinced and then immediately regret it. And she would kind of see the error of her ways, right? Would that dissuade her from further manipulation of blood and flesh magic? Maybe. Maybe not. One, the extermination of Hama, the one whose bloodline threatens our life. Every last shred of that whore's flesh must be crushed. One, the extermination of Laza, the one who blocks our radiance. Every last shred of that piece of dung must be devoured. And just cut ritual. I missed the sacrifice. We kidnapped a child, loaded him into a meat grinder, pressed the button, and now we're here. Do they all have different answers?
Until next time.
Looks like it's all the same. What's your deal? Wait, what? Oh, that's freaky. I'm in like a cutscene. Did it bug out? What? Oh wait, no, they're talking. May the dreaming god forget the name he found in sleepless heart. Let us crawl through the depth of darkness like a maggot, mud, and filth. Okay. Not the motherly type. Bad end. Okay, you know what? That makes sense. Kidnapping a child is bad. You know, we learned some moral lessons today, chat. Did you know kidnapping and sacrificing children is bad? Wow. I don't know what I expected. But that's the thing, though, right? Is it's like, well, now we know a little bit more about her morals. Okay. No, you don't say. We need a little. Wait. Can I do? I need to do one thing. Let me do one thing. Let me do one bit, and then we'll go back. Okay. Hold on. Okay. Remember, chat. Killing children is bad. I'm so sorry. You no longer exist. Hey, that's a good end in my... No, I'm kidding. No, the Streamlabs is like... I see the clip and then Streamlabs, an error occurred. Yeah, you're gonna have to do it yourself if you want to make me look shitty on the internet. Oh, you got the manual clip. Oh boy. When you see EB Games wrong. God. Fuck. Well... Well, that happened. Wait, do I have to go all the way back? Wait, no. Because we did so much shit in between when we started it and... Oh, hold on. My audio is loud for me. Actually, I don't know why my desktop audio is loud. Let me turn that down a little bit. Do I have to go back to where? Because we did that like forever ago. We started that quest. What? I thought we'd get some cool magic, you know. Quick save before the quest. You might be able to derail it before the kidnapping. You're right, actually. Are you saying your actions had consequences? Yeah, what the fuck? It's fucked up. Fucked up. Okay, you know what? You're good. Can we go back and kill him, actually? I'm wondering if that's gonna work.
We are currently at a great level for
Cause like maybe like will it let us have like a change of heart? Or is it like we have to keep to our word? What happens if I use this on him? Let's see what happens. No consequences, only action. Hold up. I wanna see something. That was crazy the way it just went back to the screen. That's nuts. Okay.
Be careful.
Thanks, man. What if can I use this on him? To autosave in shorter timed intervals? I think there is, but the thing is like we started the quest like forever ago, right? But the thing, and there might be a way to like fuck it up, so it's like maybe we do like the quest stage thing to fuck with it, but we like started the quest, did a bunch of other shit, and then last stream we're like, let's go back to this quest. Hi, Night Soul. I learned the consequences of my actions, and I might have fucked up my save. So like, what happens if I kill him? What if I put him in the meat grinder? Wait. If I will genuinely be impressed if this mod lets me do this. He seems hostile. I can't put him in the meat grinder. That was my thought, is can I put him in the meat grinder? Alright, we're gonna kill him. Let's see what happens if we kill him. Maybe we can have a take backsies or something. Let's see if that works.
Take?
Holy shit, he got yeeted. Okay, here we go. It did start something new. Examine the Anatomancer's corpse. Let's take a look. Something is stirring in his belly. Could this be the spark of life? Wait, hold on. Let me quick save before we do this. Wait, is he Mpreg? Something stirring. Oh my god, he's Mpreg! Am I gonna have to deliver a baby? Well, at the start of stream, we killed a child. And now we're divine the future! Divine the future from the guts? Mpreg? GLKY02. UNGH02. Is this some like ARG shit? Should I write these down? Frozen dead N, retrograde scarab, serpent swallowing its tail. Thieving chick traitor or a rotten womb. The egg or 6 times the wise, the 6 walking ways. This is insane. This is fucking insane. So that's it. So we don't get a good end or a bad end. Well, let's go back to his body. We can't loot him anymore. What happens if we burn the body? Here, let's save right now, and then we'll figure out what we want to do. I kind of want to know what happens if you burn the body. Maybe that's the answer, and that'll get us back to the good end? I don't know, though. Bigger hat B, I just saw that. Hi, Bodunk! Yeah, let's set him on fire. Fire, fire, like the fire. Wait, I just loaded the wrong quick save. I'm an idiot. It was this one, I think? Oh, maybe not. Can I? Let me try that again. I'm stupid. Hold on. Okay. Auto. This just should turn to an Alien vs Predator movie. Listen, I don't know what quest mod this is off the top of my head, but I'm impressed. This is like it's a fucked up quest, but it's kind of interesting. You know what I mean? Like it's a very interesting quest. That's what I'll say. Okay. Give me your blood. Thank you. Oh, I like how you can see like when it like zooms in on the kill cam, you can see like. Okay. It wouldn't let me loot him. All right, let's try burning the body. Wait, there we go. Now it says officially completed. Do we get the good ending? No. But it's done. And the body is gone. So what did the codes mean? That's what I'm wondering. Is the Did you see that? The little, like, codes and shit? Is there anything in here I'm missing? I want to look a little further. Hold on. I am genuinely wondering, is there something in this room? Human flesh. Okay, I'll take that. Could be good for later, I guess. Is there anything else back here? Because there's also stuff on his body, so I'm like, kind of wish I got his stuff, but I guess we have the important stuff now. So, did we miss out on anything by getting the... I mean, I could just console command it in, I guess, but... That was a very interesting quest. I feel like we're missing something, though. Like, it says done, but is it really? I don't know. Well, we still got the weapon, at least. So... I don't know. That was wacky. You are very interesting. That could be a compliment or something else. Either one would be correct, honestly. Yeah, I don't know, guys. Like, I'm like, I don't know, but we tried. You know, I'll say that. All right, now I don't know how the fuck to get out of here. So let's just walk this way, I guess. Walk this way. Talk this way. This is one of the first songs I learned how to play on the bass guitar. Alright, let's see. Let's find our way out. And then I guess we'll think of the next thing to do. Where's the... Oh, this way. Okay, my bad. I always get lost in the rat way, but God bless clairvoyance, you know. First walk this way, I think it was a J-pop song. Aerosmith, J-pop, all the same.
What are you?
All the same. I like how it says, he seems friendly. What are you looking at? I don't know if he seems friendly, Skyrim. That does not strike me as very friendly. So, what do you get at the... I kind of want to look it up. Let me look it up. I want to know. What do we get at the good ending? Because, I mean, I guess I could reset the quest stage. Let me look it up. I'm curious. I'm a curious cat. I need to know. Here, Skyrim, Anatomancer, good ending. So it's from the Vigilant mod. Okay. Didn't want to get the bad end, but the Anatomancer's pipe is a busted weapon, so I said I'd kill the kid. Then once I got the pipe, I killed the Anatomancer. The thing is, in the quest log, it says I still picked the evil choice and failed, since I technically picked an evil dialogue option. Will this screw me over in future quests? It will not screw us over in future quests, I think. Because there is a successor mod to this one. Apparently, according to Reddit. Let me double check, see if there's anything else. But apparently it's called, yeah, this is from the Vigilant mod. It's a cool mod, but apparently there's more to it. Serious yet unserious? Yeah, that's it is. I don't know. I feel like we're missing something low-key. I just don't know what it is. There's a lot more to Vigilant, but it's not recommended to take it on until late game. Okay. So that's okay. Very cool mod so far. I'm excited to see what more it has in store, but I did want to double check that we didn't like fuck ourselves over by fucking up that one quest. So I'm glad that we're still in the clear according to y'all and Reddit. There's no one more I trust than Reddit. Thank you, Vader. I appreciate you. Let's see. What do we want to do next? I need to talk to Urag. We need to... That was the other thing, is I said I was going to do it on off stream because I really didn't want to. But we're... Let's... You know what? I don't know what else we're going to do, and I don't want to go to Solstheim yet. Let's do the fucking College of Winterhold. Get it over with. If the College of Winterhold has 10 haters, I am one of them. If the College of Winterhold has... Actually, let's get the Elder Scroll first. If the College of Winterhold has 1 hater, it is me. If the College of Winterhold has 0 haters, I am dead. There's so much more you could have done with it. Fucking Bethesda! Please hire actual writers. I am on my hands and knees begging you. Whose dick do I have to suck for you to hire Oh shit. Okay, well maybe I angered the Bethesda gods with that because there's an aged fire dragon. Okay, hold up. Are you gonna land? Where'd you go? Because I did see it. There he is. All right, fight me like a man. I'm not a man, but sometimes I like to pretend I am one. We're not going to unpack that right now. Okay, wait, there's other people over there. Oh no, that's my ladies. Oh, get his ass, ladies. Get his ass. Oh no, and I think there were people passing through. Okay. Todd Howard has joined the chat. Todd, listen. If you listen, I just call me, you know. If that's not your, Todd Howard, do you like thick girls? If not, I'm sure my boyfriend would be fine too. You might be thinking, Evie, you wouldn't whore out your boyfriend to Todd Howard. Yes, the fuck I would if it meant we'd get writers in Bethesda.
No, the fuck you won't.
Don't worry about it, David.
I'm worried.
Don't worry about it.
Don't promise me to Todd, please.
Well, you know, it's it's a noble sacrifice. Someone's got a small price to pay for salvation. Exactly. Okay. Can I? Oh, I can't suck this dragon off. He's too far away. Come back! I need to suck you off. Come back! Oh wait, look at it. Wait, is it just me or did his flying animation get a little silly for a second? Hold on. Yeah, who are these people, by the way? Scholars. Okay. Ah! Wait, whoa! That was a lot of damage. Hold up. Please don't kill me. I will cry. Holy shit, he does so much damage. Oh my god. Okay, let's try that again. I did not expect him. I don't know why. I did not expect him to do that much damage. Also, so we're just gonna see where the death thing takes me. And Lydia's gonna phase through my corpse. You love it! They hired some of the modders behind the Fallout London mod. Yeah, it's definitely not. Okay, guys. Are you guys gonna help me? Okay, I'm just gonna reload that. Fine, whatever. They definitely have hired lots of modders before, like, cause I know they've hired some people from the Skyrim modding community and stuff as well. I just want better stories in Bethesda games. Like the mechanics are there. The world building, like how do I explain this? Like I don't want to say the world building because I don't think the world building is great. There's a different word I'm looking for. Like the setup of the games is great. I want more world to the open world. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense. Let's see. Modders make better games better than the studio, so the studio just hires them. Hey, at least they know, you know. At least they're willing to admit that, you know. All right, let's see. Is that dragon gonna show up again? Probably not, because I think that was a random thing. I don't think there's even like people over there. But anyway, we're gonna go get the Elder Scroll because I am putting off the College of Winterhold as long as possible because I'm a bitch. And I just wait. What?
It feels like.
Oh my God! Stop saying you're hungry.
By the way,
Shut up. We need to take her to McDonald's. Do you want to order some DoorDash on the side of this mountain? Oh no, it's an aged fire dragon, and instead of being level 30, it's level 40. Look at that, guys. Isn't that great? Isn't that swell? Oh shit. Okay, let me suck your ass. Give me that ass. Okay. Okay. The ass is being sucked. The ass is being sucked. Oh wait, that's the wrong person. I was sucking off Lydia instead of the dragon. God damn it. Okay. Back up a little bit more? No. Okay. And he's out of sucking off distance too. Alright, I need to make sure he doesn't hit me. If he hits me, I'm fucked. Let me actually heal myself while we're waiting for him to land. Okay. Okay, they're getting him. We really need to spawn in some boners. I need him to land. College of Winterhold is better than Civil War. No, I would agree there. I feel like they could have done so much more with the Civil War. That's another thing where I'm like, mods make the Civil War a lot better. Okay, can I hit him from here? Yeah. Okay, I'm barely in sucking off range if he gets over there. Okay. No, the College of Winterhold hoodies are cute. I do like those, but the actual quest line is mid. I have not played Dragon's Dogma 2. I haven't played the first one, but I might check it out. I'm not sure. I've heard multiple things about it. I've heard many things. Let me see. Yeah, I can't get in range.
Being attacked by
I can't
dragons.
get in range. The vampire home where you go to their dinners nearby to the college. Should we try that again? Actually, no, I think we did that in a different playthrough and I did beat it. Because there were a few times where I just couldn't beat it. I think we beat it in maybe the Rasha playthrough? I'm not sure. I need your blood! Get back here! No, I agree. Dark Brotherhood's definitely the best vanilla questline. That shit made me cry. I remember, I like have a visceral memory. Like a core memory is playing the Dark Brotherhood questline for the first time, deadass. I remember, yeah, can I get like a little health back? No? Okay. I remember the first time I played it, I was on the Xbox 360. And I remember I was like doing it at like 8 in the, like, not 8. It was like 8 in the morning, but I'd stayed up the whole night before or something like that, playing Skyrim. And I remember, oh wait, no, I want these two. I remember just like shocked. You know what I mean? Like I was just like so taken aback at the events of the, oh fuck, I missed, of the quest line. I was just like, how could she do that to me? Like I was so offended. I was like, Astrid, I thought what we had was special. I thought you were gonna let me cuck your husband. Like I remember, oh shit! Ah! Oh. Oh, I alt tabbed. Do I live though? Can I live? Can I live? Can I live? Can I live? No. God damn it. Okay, at least I saved this time. At least I saved. The answer honestly might just be minding my business and letting everyone else do the work for me. That might be the answer, because I am a bit under-leveled. He's level 40. I'm level 28. Not that. Oh, wait, where's my flesh coat? Actually, no. The Atronachs are going to probably be best there because they do range damage. Whoa! Okay, alright. Let me take out my other shit. Okay. We are doing damage. It's just very slow. Alright, am I still targeting him? I want to make sure I'm not targeting anybody else. I'm just targeting him. At least I can farm blood points off of him. Alright. Just whenever he... Okay, I think the plan is whenever he leaves, I just need to heal myself back up, and that's essentially free real estate. Oh, shit. Okay. I can't see because the fucking... There we go. Alright, back to this one. Alright, heal myself back up. Alright, he's not targeting me. As long as he's not targeting me. God, he's spewing that shit everywhere. Can't out heal the fire damage, but that's okay. Alright. Come on.
This is rather exciting.
It is exciting, Lucian. Thank you for noticing. Okay, can I like get up here and still hit him? No, it missed. Okay. Get off the mountain. Get off the mountain. Back to healing myself.
Seriously, this whole feels
There we go. We're at a point where health is for damage and mana is for healing myself at this point. Okay. Oh, there he is. Okay, he's landing. Heal myself up. We might be able to level up our blood skills after this, actually. Alright, he's gone. I can't see him. Alright, I can probably get one more fast healing in. I'm almost, oh yeah, I'm almost out. There we go, okay. Get down here, you big puppy! Oh. We are hitting him, though. He's down to half. Here, let me actually save here. We made good progress. I think we're okay. Hello? Where'd he go? Here he is. Okay, he's landed. He's landed. Alright, let me get my fucking bearings. Hopefully he stays down. No, I spoke too soon. God damn it. At least I can heal myself up again. It's just gonna be that cycle. And I don't know if I want to take a risk to use some of the big... Okay, maybe we will. What we got? Blood is power. You lose 40 points of max health. You know what? Sure, let's try it. Alright, no more max health. And then... Transfusion. this and actually, which does more? Blood boil and blood drain. No, that's not what I want. Blood boil and drain health. I'm healing slowly. Boil this bitch's blood!
As much as I enjoy fighting,
God, we're low. We're so low. We're healing, but not fast enough. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's so close. No, fuck! I was so close! I killed myself! I killed myself! That might be the strat, though. I think I just... The answer is Evie needs to be fucking patient. Oh, hey, Vanya. Hello, Vanya, loading screen. Okay. Very cool. All right, let's give that a try, though. Okay, blood is power! Okay. All right, next up. Health, and actually, no, we're gonna boil some blood. Boil that blood. Okay. Heal up first. I don't know if I'm healing, actually. No, fuck, what was that? Okay. My bad. I don't think that should have done that much damage to me, actually. Hold up. Oh, hey, girl. Oh, she's got a little painting of herself. That's so cute. Okay, let's try this again. All right. Let's do blood is power first. And then we'll do blood boil, blood drain. So left click is blood drain. Okay, I think I was on the wrong one. No, I was right. I was right. Oh, I don't have the fucking... Here we go. Drain health. Wait, no. No, not the upper hook. Here we go. All right. Let me heal up a little bit, and then we'll start blood boiling again. Let me put that back in my favorites, actually, now that we're starting to get to a point where we can use these. Okay. Go. Come back down.
yeah, sorry, but you're not worth it to put in my record,
God.
so goodbye.
Okay, there we go. Heal up. Oh, we still don't have the fucking... she was still hitting him with the upper right hook. Yeah, heal, 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 heal. Ooh, shit. Okay. Boil. Okay. We are absorbing. It's not doing as much damage as I'd like for it to. And the thing with blood drain is the initial cast still costs health. Oh, shit. Okay. He's so close, though.
Alright, that was a good warm-up.
Warm up? That was the whole concert. The fuck you mean warm up? Elder Dragon Heart. Wait, that's kind of cool. Hell yeah. Okay, we did it. It was stressful, but we did it. I do want to see what our blood points are right there. If you guys can tell you about his past quest, he'll let you tell his story. Ooh, very cool.
You know what would be nice?
Let's actually do that now before I forget.
One too many times
Inigo,
I
where
went
are
the
you?
wrong way.
team.
I mean, it's
Inigo?
Team
similar
us.
to the road. How was I
Yep.
supposed to know?
Where the fuck's Inigo?
Us.
Inigo? What? Has anyone seen Inigo? What? I'm sure he'll turn up eventually. Okay, we only have 82 to spend, but that's okay. I'm sure everything is fine. It's fine. Everything's gotta be fine, right? Yeah. Alfstein. Okay, there we go. What's up? Alright, talk to Urag. Here we go. What's this? Recover the Elder Scroll. Alright, well, recovering the Elder Scroll is downstairs. Anything in this little cabin? What about... Oh, here we go. Expedition manifest. Well, looks like it didn't go so well. Oh, they're trying to make sure the College of Winterhold doesn't steal their discoveries? Oh, okay. Let's see what's in here. Oh, okay. Let's try that again. Because will eventually give you a teleport spell. Has he taught you to whistle for him on find him on your map? I don't think so. We haven't had him very long, but I'll have to check. I'll take that. Might need these. Actually, I'll take the soul jump too. Might need it. Let's check this little one right here. Let's see. Anything good in here? No. What's this lever do? Press the button. Press the button. Let's see. Control port. Okay, well, we don't have the control port. Well, let's just head down there then and see what we can find then, I guess. Yeah, it's down here, right? Yeah. Is there not a, walkway? Oh. Oh, you did not have a good time. Oh, sorry about that. Where is that? Close to it. It's over here. Oh, that's a long way down. Just gonna scale. Just scale. Scaling. Scaling. Scaled! Okay, perfect. Now where's... Oh, now it's up there. Wait, what the fuck? Where is this? Where do you want me to go? Whee! Wait, what the fuck? Oh, shit. Okay, hold on. Stop that! Thank God that spell heals you if you do nothing. Okay. Anyway, before I was so rudely interrupted, let me actually heal myself back up. Healing hands. There we go. No, not that one. I lied. Fast healing. What is this? That rock looks suspicious. Oh, there's a door behind there. Wait, do I have any fire spells? I mean, I don't, but I know people who do. Here we go. Can I melt this? Yeah, the ice is melting. Here we go. There it goes. Okay. Get out of there. Get out of there. Come on. Yeah. Oh. Well, we don't have the key. Well, that was anticlimactic. Okay. Alright. We'll keep going then, I guess. Alright, let's find our way to the Elder Scroll. Is it, like, not... Here, let's try this again. Because I don't think we're going the right way, chat. I don't think we are. Like, you know what we need? You know what this situation calls for? Get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that. Get rid of that. My best friend. My dear friend. Where the fuck am I going? Okay, thank you. As someone who's directionally challenged... No, it wouldn't let me pull the lever. It wouldn't let me. We're gonna... Oh. Oh. Yeah, it wouldn't let me pull the lever when I tried over there. Unless... Is there one over here? Yeah, 'cause it's wanting me to go over there. Is this door gonna open? Usually these doors don't open. Yeah, because I can't get to that lever. And then the lever over there, it wouldn't let me. Because I don't have the box or whatever. Thought I did, though. Let me see. Yeah, and I have nothing for the control port. Because I feel like that's where I'm supposed to go. That's where it's telling me to go. Frozen door I've never found. Yeah, it's really cool. I'm just like, where do I go? Is it this whole tower? How do I get in there? Clairvoyance isn't really helping me. Because when I did that way, it kind of led to nothing. Maybe over here is the answer? Yeah, because that's just like a pillar. Although there is some stuff over there. Question is just how do I get there? It's the ruined tower. Is there a way to get over there? Let's see. Let me follow the path again and see where it takes me. Because it wants me to wrap around, so I'm wondering if there's a bridge or something. Yeah, we went to the shacks and there wasn't any keys or anything like that. At least I saw. Let's see. There's our girl statue of Azura, though. I'll double check, though, but I think I looted it already. Let's see. Yeah, because it tells me to just throw myself off a cliff. I don't need Skyrim to do that. I read my TikTok comments. Alright, let's see. Because there's two little shacks over here. None of them really got anything. That chest is empty. There wasn't anything in this one, I don't think. I'll double check, but I didn't see anything. Yeah, a whole bunch of nothing. Trying to figure out how to get into this building. Trying to get there to the Elder Scroll. I would like to elder my scroll, please. Please. I'm not sure. Here, let's see. This is what I wanted. There we go. What? Oh, I almost missed. Okay. So is there a way to get there from here? Should be. Let's just follow the path. There we go. I see it. Okay, cool. Just not fall off. Aha! Okay, here we go. Glacial ruins. Okay, there we go. Now we're cooking. Now we're cooking. Okay. Did you see Stardew got an update? Yeah! I'm kind of like a little upset because I just started playing Stardew again, but I've been playing it on my iPad. And low-key, something about sitting with a glass of wine, laying in bed, playing Stardew on the iPad is so fucking relaxing. But I want to play the new update, but I'm afraid if I play the new update, then I'm not going to want to play it on my iPad anymore. You know what I mean? Alright, let's see. We tried to get through a glacier at the top, but we couldn't find any way into the tower, into that tower parapet. Yag spotted in the glacial wall and construction of a catwalk was finished just in time for a storm to hit. At first we thought to wait it out, but it has only gotten worse. A shift in the glacier took out several of the new laborers. I ordered everyone to quickly move as much of the supplies as we could into the fissure, and we managed to get most of it. One of the hands decided he wasn't going to listen and tried to make it out through the storm, but he got blown off the catwalk by the wind. Ooh, sucks to suck. Looks like we are well and truly stuck in here. But for all that I feel, for all that I feel even more driven that I should be the one to uncover the mysteries of this ruin. I'm tired of all the credit for my work going to mages or the Legion. Womp womp! It will be my name that goes down in the history books for this discovery. Oh, well. I wonder what your name is.
Use hat to make mechanical spiders?
Although I think it said journal on the
Why not
person.
mechanical dogs or bunnies?
Let's see. Anything in here? I am taking things we could potentially enchant, but it doesn't look like there's a ton over here. There's a ton of blood. Mmm, delicious. I don't see anything too crazy. Let's quick save just in case. Look on, you can teleport straight to Blackreach. Oh, really? Oh, damn, that's crazy. Let's see. It's gonna be another I have to melt the way or something like that. Every time I look back over, I still know exactly where you are. The Skyrim brain rot is in fact real. But we are getting close to the Elder Scroll, supposedly. Vault over. Wait, let's see what's going on over here. Hey, let me over. Okay. What's going on over here? Potion minor healing? Oh, there's a skooma person over there. Hold on. Does he see me? I don't think he sees me. Where'd he go? Is he alone? Won't bother him if I don't need to. I don't want to be a dick. No, I love the vault over stuff. It's awesome. I need a regular pickaxe though, so we'll grab that. Yeah, I don't think he sees me. Hey, Scritch. I was wondering where he went. Oh shit. Oh, fuck. Okay, I need to use different magic because... Oh, wait. Oh, shit. We're gonna need the gang, aren't we? Yeah, okay. I think we only can use Flames magic here. So... That's the only one that's gonna affect them. Which is a little annoying. Because as you can see, I do no fucking damage with Flames magic, but... That's okay. Is there more of them? Oh, shit. Okay. Are we good? Hey, Inigo's back! Hey, bro! I was looking for you! Can I ask you something?
You have my full attention.
Let's talk about
I
talking.
will listen to you talk about talking, and we will take it from there.
Oh, that's interesting. I just noticed you can kind of control. Can I do that with recorder? Just the. Oh, welcome! Welcome in, gamers! Hello, hello, hello! Thank you for the raid! Come on, you can shout out Volca. I would really appreciate it. Welcome in, everybody! Welcome in. If you are new in town, hello. My name is Evie Games. I like girls with big boobies. I like Skyrim. And I accidentally sacrificed a child, but then I killed the guy who told me to do that, so now it's okay. Yippee! Well, welcome in. What did you play? What did you stream? We are currently trying to find the Elder Scroll. We did a bunch of other random side quests, and now we're finally trying to finish the main story to get it out of the way. And then we're gonna do the college winner to get it out of the way. And then we're gonna do the actual fun evil quest. But we have had a lot of really cool modded quests. The sacrificing a child quest came from the mod Vigilant, which is really, really cool, and I'm excited to see more of. But it seems like it's more of an endgame thing. Oh, Yakuza! I've been meaning to play those games for a really long time, but I just haven't gotten to it. I love sacrificing children. Yeah, it turns out sacrificing children was the bad ending, and I somehow ceased to exist. And there was a room filled with eyes and blood, which was honestly kind of metal. But yeah, apparently sacrificing children, that was the moral lesson we learned. Is that is not good. As chat all shook their heads and took notes. Okay, I can't fucking see in here, so we're gonna do, where is it? Candlelight, because I can't see. But I hope you had a good stream. I've never played any of the Yakuza games before. They're very, very fun. Or they look very, very fun. But this is our character, Vanya. She is a blood mage. She is basically the character we are trying to do the Legacy of the Dragonborn mod with. Basically, Legacy of the Dragonborn, if you're unfamiliar with Skyrim, you get a lot of shit. A lot of people in Skyrim have a big hoarding problem, myself included. The museum in Legacy of the Dragonborn gives you a museum to store all that shit. And then people pay money to come see all your shit, which is really cool. So we're trying to basically do every single quest in the game to collect as much stuff for our museum as possible and hopefully complete it and get everything. So we're doing as much as we can, and the reason this character Vanya works with it is because her whole goal is she wants to explore the world and learn as much about it as possible so she can use her powers for morally questionable reasons, because she likes to dabble in the dark arts in Daedra and blood magic. So we are using a hemomancy mod as well, which we aren't currently using right now because we are in a Dwemer cave, and you can't really suck the blood of people that don't have blood. Trust me, I've tried. Even though they're so goofy. I feel like everyone can, sometimes it's okay to laugh at some pummeling. Sometimes it's okay.
Gaslight,
so let's see.
gatekeep,
Marky,
girl
thank you so much
boss.
for the follow. You are now Gaslight, Gatekeep, Girl Boss. Welcome to the stream. Let me see. Where the fuck? I don't know where to go. Because I did vault over somewhere, so I'm like, am I not going the right way? Is this the wrong way? Because I might have fucked up. Let's see. Because I was also trying to avoid a drug addict. Because I just didn't want to get into that, if you know what I mean. Let me see. Yeah, we need to go all the way over here. Okay, so we're kind of on the right path, but it looks like we might need to talk to the drug addict. I don't have any drugs to give him, but maybe I could kill him and take his drugs for myself. As a little treat. Hope you're doing well. Thank you. I am having a very fun time. I love streaming Skyrim. Originally, we were going to stream Cyberpunk. And I've been wanting to get back to my Cyberpunk playthrough for a while. But turns out there was a big chunky update. And I did not update the game in time. So we're currently debating, like, do I just start calling myself a oh god, we're back to where we started. Fuck! Do I just start calling myself a Skyrim streamer? Because it seems like we keep ending up back in Skyrim. And originally it was just gonna be Skyrim Sundays, but now it's Skyrim. Can you guys get the fuck out of the way? Holy shit. Recorder, move! Move! I'm trying to do something here. That's my dog, by the way. You like my dog? Check it out. That's my dog. All right. Anyway, can you guys move? Can I... I'm begging you. Can you? No direct path seen. Oh, fantastic. Well, maybe there's no direct path seen because your fat ass is in the way. Can you move?
How's it going?
Not good. I need you to leave. I need you to do something.
Only if I get a sweet roll for it.
Oh my god.
Just kidding. What did you need?
She's cute for like 3 seconds. Here, wait over there.
Consider it done.
Yeah, go over there and get the fuck out of the way. Can you not do it? Is dog in the way? Oh no, we're good. Okay.
Roger.
Right.
I mean...
Wait, what? Why is it? Oh, hold on. Where'd that fire come from? Where'd the fire come from? Who are you guys fighting? What the fuck? Where'd that come from? Okay, thanks, gang. Yeah, no direct path still. Okay. Well, let's see if we can find our way to the Elder Scroll. I'm sure we can. It can't be that hard. Skyrim to some, including me, as a comfort game. It definitely is. Like, I joked about it a few streams ago, but I literally said, I was like, if you guys see me playing a bunch of Skyrim, it's because I'm stressed out. And I'm happy to say that I finally think all the stress with like taxes and you know, getting the score ready for Offkai Expo. Taxes are not fun, but Offkai Expo is fun, but it is a lot of work. I do think all the hard parts are done, and I actually had a bunch of like cancellations for work today, so I decided to kind of take the morning off, and I low-key really needed it. I had a really chill morning today, and it was really nice. So I think thankfully the most stressful things are over for now. So, but that doesn't mean I won't keep playing Skyrim. I'm literally always going to play Skyrim. How has your content evolved since you started streaming? Well, I started playing Skyrim. I'm still playing Skyrim. But that's the thing is when you have like 850 mods in it, there's always like, I've been using this mod pack specifically for a year now. I used to make my own mod lists. But I'm a fucking moron. Holy shit. I literally was like, I don't know, where's the lever? How do I get around? Thank fuck she's skinny, I guess. One of the creator contents, it turns out it's a bad idea as Whiterun is what I can describe as World War III. I love that. You know what? Whiterun's just freaky like that. Hi, Unicorn Man. Welcome in. I do need to get the Husky. I did install, I don't know if you saw, Morgan, I did install the cat mod you recommended. So I need to see if I can befriend a stray cat, because that is something I would very much like to do. But the one cat we found did not want to see me. Did not want to talk to me. But I think we are cooking. I think we are making our way to the Elder Scroll. But that's the thing, is the vault through stuff, the climb through stuff. It's really cool. I'm just not used to it. Okay, we need to start traveling at night so I can summon some skeleton boys, my boner army. But I think they have blood, so let me get sucking. Alright. Hello! Give me your blood! Blood for the blood god. Whoop. So basically what these spells do is instead of costing magicka, they cost health. And some of them heal you back, but some of them don't. So you have to be careful to not spam your spells. Because I've accidentally killed myself like 3 times. with these spells. Let's see, I think in here.
There's a very clear winner, and it's about to be me.
I don't see it. Oh, there's another farmer in there. Oh, y'all are just like beating on him. Oh, holy shit. Lucian going in! Good for him! Goddamn! Good for you, bud! Alright, let's see. Oh! What a way to die, huh? That's... Wait, I want to see something. No, she doesn't have armor on. I was gonna like... There was a split second where I was like, damn, can we see the Falmerosi? Like... Anything else good in here? More human flesh, yum! A healthy snack. But, yeah, so basically, if you see these little icons by things, by the way, for my new gamers, basically means you can add it to your museum. So if it has a check, it means it's already in our museum. If it has a blue plus sign, that means we can add it to the museum. And if it has a hand, it means it's in our inventory, just not in the museum yet. So you might see some of those as we're pillaging through stuff. But I think we are making our way to the Elder Scroll. I am hoping, I don't know if we'll finish the main quest today, but we've certainly gotten pretty far with it. Okay, how far is the range on, there we go. Okay, not super far. Okay, the blood boil spell is good. It does just take a lot of soup though. It does take a lot of help. Wait, why does body fall on the floor? Okay, there we go. As long as I can still loot the body, that's okay. Also in this mod pack, because just for fun, you can loot the essence of the Falmer, which is a potion from the Falmer, which is a potion that makes your dick smaller. So fun fact. Welcome in, everybody. Yeah, you guys handle that, because I have my blood magic spells equipped, and he has no blood, so I'm not gonna be useful here. We need the Falmer here for the alchemy. Oh my god, Lucian is going in. Look at him go! Okay, I think I have Blood Dagger equipped. So you can see with Blood Dagger, I literally spawn a knife made of my blood and throw it at them. And if that's not the most metal thing you've ever heard in your life, I don't know what to tell you. So let's see, any goodies over here? Because there was a little thing over here. Nope, nothing in it.
How much farther do we have to run?
We're going.
I should have worked on my cardio.
How do you not have good cardio? We've been walking for like 8 days, girly. With no breaks, because I don't need to sleep or eat. If I don't need to sleep or eat, then neither do you. You'll be fine. Okay. Let's heal myself up a little bit. And then give me back my little flashlight. There we go. Boop. Okay. We'll do these two. And then we should be okay.
But I find your fiery friend attractive.
Wait, whoa, what?
Yes, my
Who
friend.
do you find it? Oh, I was like, who's he referring to as fiery? Everyone's just kind of a bitch. I'm like, you have good taste, my friend.
We are a pretty good team.
You have an excellent taste, Inigo. I respect it. All right, let's. Oh, and good thing I'm skinny. If I wasn't, I would have died. Okay, let's see how much farther we need to go. Because I think this is our secondary we've been through. Hopefully it's in here. But we'll see. Alright, recover the Elder Scroll. Alright, don't step on... Okay, gamers, careful. Don't step on the traps. Don't step on the traps. Oh, shit. Okay, there we go. Alright, no one's gonna step on the traps, right? No one's gonna step on them? Be careful. Okay, there we go. I think I accidentally sucked someone else's blood, but accidents happen. See, my thing is it's not even me. Usually I'm not pretty good about traps. I'm okay with traps, but sometimes my followers trigger them and I'm like, how'd you even manage to do that? I didn't even think that was possible in the game. Oh shit, is this it? Okay, here we go. Come on. Okay, I need to be careful and not accidentally kill myself. Fuck! Shit! She's laughing at me. Do you see that? She's laughing at me. When did we last save? Oh, god damn it. Okay, this is fine. It's fine. We're just gonna run really, really fast. We're just gonna go really, really fast. It's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. I mean, we did just get into this room, so it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Actually, it's not fine. Hold on. Let me go back and heal myself, because it's actually very not fine. The follower watchers you doing copy. Yeah, exactly. You can't win. All right, you guys handle that. Are we good?
I should really lay off on those sweet rolls.
Okay. It's okay. Recorder just like me, for real, for real. Alright. Door number 1. Alright, let's quick save here real quick. So I think this is the chamber we need. Let's take a look. Alright. Take a look in a book. Yeah, I need to just... Well, I think over here it's Falmer, so we should be okay. Hi, Blacksmith! Welcome in, gamer. Let me do that. I think we should be good. Drain health and Blood Dagger. Yeah, that'll be good. Am I a bit quiet? Let me know if I'm still quiet and I'll adjust. But thank you for letting me know, Nick. I appreciate you. Alright, give me your blood. Give me your blood. Give me your blood. Okay, come here. Woo. Yeah. I don't know why. I feel like I should be doing more damage. I don't know. Maybe I still need to keep putting more stuff into blood points. I do need to check after this how much more we need to level up. I think we're doing okay. Let's take some of these. Just alchemy reasons they'll be okay. Or they'll be good. I think that should be fine. Anything else in here? Oh. Alright, let's put the light back on. And how do we get through there? Is this gonna be another I just gotta slip through? Yep. Let me just let me just squeeze through real quick. Skinny. Okay, perfect. Oh. Okay, we cannot use nope. Our magic is useless here. Yippee. Alright, let's do that. And then where are the 2 flame spells we know? That's all I got. Sorry. I mean, we're doing pretty good in damage. I'm playing Guild Wars 2, how goes Skyrim? We are about to find the Elder Scroll. So we're doing pretty good. I'm pretty proud of us. We did accidentally die a few times. Maybe a bit more than I liked. Oh, there we go, key. But, you know, everybody makes mistakes, so that's okay. Alright. Let's see. Boop.
Sulla, let's just get out of here. Hasn't there been enough death?
Wait, what?
Of course, you want me to leave. Just waiting for me to turn my
What's
back.
going on here?
So you can have all the glory for yourself.
But yeah, please let me know if I'm still too quiet. Alright, are you guys gonna, okay. I was just gonna let him pop off. Ooh, glass bow. Don't mind if I do.
Are you prepared to die?
You guys just, these rocks are cool. I wasn't gonna get involved, but if you guys wanna, yeah, it says they're enemies, so, alright. Oh wait, I can suck their blood. Hey, give me your blood, give me your blood, give me your blood, give me your blood. Blood. There we go. Perfect. Wait, why are you attacking me? I was killing your homie. Ah! Shit. Yeah, okay, Morgan, I saw that at the, here, I'm stupid. I'm a dumb, stupid hoe. 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 I did see all the stuff about the gargoyles in the Hemomancy tab, but I didn't really know what it meant. Okay, let's speed run through this. Let me just, do one of these moves. There we go. Oh, I don't have the thing that makes it double good. That's okay. Alright, let's keep doing this and not kill myself this time. I will not kill myself this time. Wait, what? What am I taking damage from? What the fuck? Okay, I need to start quick saving more. I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. Did I take my ADHD medicine today? Yeah, I did. Okay. I feel like I'm being more careless than usual, and I don't know why. So that's why I'm like, did I take my meds? I took my meds. You're not a stupid hoe, you're just dumb. Thanks! Okay, let's go over here. Bonk. Bonk.
Did you hear something?
And then let's just keep it simple. Just drain health. Just keep it simple. Keep it simple. You know, keep it simple. Okay, now we'll add Blood Dagger into this.
Let's play a game. It's called Who's Still Standing?
I think if we'll use the more powerful spells just so we can get used to spamming. Because I like spamming when it comes to spells. So I think having the more low power stuff so I don't accidentally kill myself will be okay. Alright. Let's double check here. I don't think there were any display pieces over here. Oh wait, chest. Moonstone ore. Don't mind if I do. I need to take my meds. Hell yeah, take your meds if you haven't already. Also, dog, can you get out of the way? I need to. This is not your new home. Can he move? Scritch? See, it's triggered the Dwarven Centurion, but they're not going for it. Guys, can I... Let me just do that real quick. He's a cutie. No, I love him. He's a little weird, but that's okay. Okay. No, that didn't... Okay, can I just... Oh, God, what's the turn off collision thing? What's the thing for turning off collision? TCL, there we go. Alright, let me just squeeze past. Let me just squeeze past you real quick. There we go. I was like, I couldn't remember the command for it. Okay, there we go. Let's save real quick. Heal myself before we go in, like a good noodle. And then we'll be okay. I need to save a little bit more, because that's where I keep getting fucked up, is I keep not saving when really I should be. Alright, let's get our flame spells equipped too, because the Centurion up there has no blood, so, not much I can do with that. Oh, he is stuck. Can I fight him through this? Oh, okay, you know, that works actually. Yeah, we can do that.
Take this.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Alright. Bro has no idea what the fuck he's doing. Okay.
Because I like
Alright, let me just squeeze through.
I kill because I love to.
Oh my god, you're so weird. She is so strange. Okay. Let me see. Oh, Grand Soul Gem. Don't mind if I do. Key, Emerald, Follow Skynet. Yep. Okay. Alright, and then these two doofuses are gonna be fighting up here. I don't know what their beef is, but we'll find out, I guess. Another Grand Soul Gem. Let's see. Hi. Excuse me. Alright, we'll see what, I'm just gonna do this. See what their beef is, because it's not really my business, honestly. Only thing I hate about having followers is yeah, it's just like, I know they mean well, but sometimes they get stuck, you know? Alright, we're just gonna, who's gonna win? Place your bets. I'm putting my bets on the guy. Oh fuck, Lydia has entered the scene. Okay, well, in that case then. Would you like some women? Women, one for you, one for you. There you go. And then I'll suck your blood. Yippee! Alright, give me your blood. Forgot that blood drain was an AoE. That's probably, ooh, Imperial armor. Okay, when I take this off you, please don't whip your dick out. Okay, crisis averted. Sometimes they whip their dicks out and it freaks me out. Oh, wait, Tarja the Blooded? Wait, what's that? Here, give me your bones. Tarja the Blooded. Where is that? Oh, that's a cool fucking shield. Okay, we got we got some good displays. And it's Lydia with the steel chair. Okay. Alright, looks like, is this where we need to go? Oh, here we go. I almost left without taking the fucking Elder Scroll. Alright. Give me the scroll. Give me the scroll. Give me the scroll. I want the scroll because I'm a good doodle. I think I deserve it because I'm just so sweet and cute and kind. I'm so sorry. I will never do that again. I don't know. I was talking to one of my friends about like if I were to do, because for my my birthday stream, we're gonna have basically what's gonna happen is that's gonna be when I'll debut my Skyrim themed model. I have a Daedra themed model coming up. Some of you may know which Daedra it is already. But I wanted to do another like streamathon, subathon, donathon, whatever the fuck. And I was thinking of like asking one of my friends to help me win goals for it. And one of them, she was like, "Why don't you do like ASMR or something like that?" And I was like, "I don't think my community would like that." She's like, "What?" I was like, "Oh no, I've been pretty clear on you know, I don't really do girlfriend experience and stuff like that. I'm pretty clear on that. It'd feel kind of like weird to do ASMR." And she's like, "Well, what do they like?" And I was like, "Skyrim." Dave, and she's like, "Well, you could get Dave to do ASMR." And I was like, maybe. I don't know. I thought about doing like meme ASMR. Like ASMR, you go on a date with me and then Dave shows up and Dave cucks me and takes you away from me or something like that. I think that would be funny as fuck. David does Skyrim ASMR. What was Skyrim? Actually, hold on. Hey, David. What would Skyrim ASMR be like? If I asked you to do Skyrim ASMR, what would you do?
When I was little, I used to make up stories about finding treasure in caves like this. Never guessed I'd be doing it
Come, actually, why don't you come closer to the mic for this question?
Yeah.
Yeah, why don't you bless their ears? Come here, while I peacefully find the Elder Scroll and hopefully not get fucked up.
Yeah. Oh, you're in Blackreach. Fun.
Yeah, I'm looking for the Elder Scroll.
The only kind of interesting cave in the game. Anyway,
We were shit talking Bethesda earlier. I was surprised you didn't join in.
it's hard for me to separate the things I can say publicly versus what I can't.
David's
So I just don't say
NDA'd.
anything.
We can't say what game company David works for because he has to like take a course on like public relations or something before he can like say who he works for on the internet. But I will say David does work for games company and knows certain things that we can't publicly share.
Before people start guessing, not Bethesda.
He does not work for Bethesda.
I talk too much shit on Maine about Todd Howard.
We do. I also implied that I sucked Todd Howard's dick, so maybe that evens it out.
Don't. He's bad at designing games.
Well, that doesn't mean. Never mind. Do your fucking ASMR. Get in the mic, David.
Oh God. Okay. What encapsulates Skyrim? I would probably say the same like 4 or 5 canned lines over and over
You would be an NPC.
Yeah. No. For sure.
Wait, could we do an NPC stream unironically?
No. I have some dignity left.
Thanks for the rose. Thanks for the rose. Thanks for the galaxy. Come on, David. Please.
It would just be really close to the mic. Just cold won't be good for my crops. Never is.
I thought of
like
when you
4 times in a row.
When you said that, I thought of not like that live.
One.
Yeah, I really thought you were gonna lean in close to the. Oh my God, why is he so loud? Holy shit! I really thought you were gonna lean into the mic and say, "Cold won't be good for my crotch." Never is.
No, but
oh fuck! I can't steal his health. He doesn't have blood.
Probably that. Then I would clip into the nearest piece of furniture.
How do you how do you plan on doing that in an ASMR format?
Special effects. It'll be fine.
Okay, creativity. I like it.
Start eating bread without opening my mouth, so it'll just be the sound of me smushing a piece of bread into my face.
Okay, I like this. Very creative. You should do ASMR.
No, I shouldn't.
I don't know. You've got some good ideas, bro.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm one of those people where ASMR like kind of creeps me out. Like,
It depends on what it is for me.
If that's your thing, totally valid. I get it. Like I do understand the appeal. Not for me.
We had to explain ASMR to my parents the other day. It was really funny. we were at my parents' house. Do you want to do more ASMR or are you good?
One final thing, it would end with a lot of like staticky noises and then it would crash.
How are you gonna crash an ASMR? Are you just gonna kill yourself on stream?
No, but like.
I was like, what do you mean by that?
It'll just like, I'll find a way to blue screen whatever device you're listening to.
You just like, it's like the scene from Bochi where she's just like on the fucking floor.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what, David? Why aren't you the streamer? Why am I the streamer? I think you got some kick-ass ideas, bro.
Also, it'll wipe the hard drive of whatever you're watching.
Oh, immersive! You love to see it.
Well, I mean, you know, you gotta corrupt your save, but like, better.
You know, maybe that's not a bad idea. Maybe we'll do some ASMR together, David. We can be a power couple of doing weird shit on the internet.
I don't think anyone's ready for that.
You know, I don't think God's ready for that, honestly. I mean, would you, Chad? Would you? I don't know. Yeah, okay. So we had to explain ASMR to my parents the other day. Have you guys heard the boyfriend gets into a car crash and fucking dies ASMR? Because we found that on TikTok and we thought it was the funniest fucking shit. And me and my parents were literally just like, it was me, my parents, David, and my sister. And we were literally just like hanging out in their basement. There might have been alcohol involved. And like I have the kind of relationship with my parents where sometimes we drink together. And we were just watching like random shit on YouTube. And it started with the important videos playlist, you know, the one where it has like the that one. And we were just going on to random shit, and that video came up to my recommended, and they're like, why is that in your recommended? Like, because they just saw the art in the thumbnail where it's like boyfriend ASMR, and they're like, what the fuck's wrong with you, Evie? And I was like, no. And so I explained it to them, and we watched it, and they thought it was the funniest shit, and then they were like, wait, what's actual ASMR? And I was like, ooh. So then that's how I explained ASMR to my parents. I told him, though, I was like, hey, there's some people I know, because I work with a lot of VTubers professionally. I was like, Mom, don't knock it. There's a lot of people I know that make good money doing ASMR. And then my parents were like, well, Evie, why are you doing ASMR? And I got scolded for not doing ASMR. I was like, because I don't want to. And they're like, but think of the money, Evie. You could go to Disney World. I'm like, Why are my parents asking me to whore myself out for content? Well, ASMR isn't whoring yourself out. Well, depending. But there's nothing wrong with doing that. If it's your choice and makes you happy, go for it. But that's it was one of the things where I didn't expect my parents to encourage that, but they were like, hey, give it a try. Then you'll go to Disney World as many times as you want. I was like, damn, okay. Alright, but yeah, no disrespect to anyone who does ASMR. I don't think I could do it. People who do ASMR are braver than any US Marine. I can't keep it. First, it's hard, right? I couldn't take myself that seriously. Like, you gotta be like an actor for that shit, you know? And second of all, I don't know, this is gonna sound silly. What if I just started yawning? Or like, what if like my mouth is wet and I'm making like weird mouth noises? I feel like that would be like, I feel like that would fuck it up. You know what I mean? I don't think I could not fuck it up, I'll be honest. Alright. I know I played this game a gazillion and one time. Julian? Who the fuck's Julian?
Careful for those pipes. The gas is stuck in there are probably
Who, did you hear him? He was like, Julian! Who's Julian?
Sure.
Okay. Alright, well, I guess we'll never know. Alright, let's see if we can get this sorted. Aha! Oh, okay. Oh, I can't press these buttons yet. How do we get to those buttons? There's a journal over there. Is there anything else down here in the, like, main thingy? Oh, there's a whole thing over here. Is that just the way out? I think this is just the way out. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I remember how to solve this puzzle. I totally remember how to solve this puzzle. That's crazy. Well, don't fall down there. Wait, did you see Recorder? Did you see her in the fucking... Oh my god. Okay, how do I do this? I genuinely don't remember what to do, actually. He calls him Julian because Lucian calls him Indigo. Wait, that's so cute. That's really cute. Okay. Now, how do I thought there was another... Is there another thing I need to put in here? What am I missing? I gotta be missing something because it's not letting me use all the buttons. Wait, is this the one where you have to, like, cast a spell on it? I think it is. I think I remember this. It's like this one? No. So remember there was one of these where you had to cast a spell. Oh, fuck, how do I do this?
Smell that death and metal.
Wait, can I take this out and then put it somewhere else?
I've been meaning to ask you something.
Oh.
For a moment.
Sure, what is it?
Look, I know I'm not very good at practical things. You know, combat. I rely on you to win our battles, and I shouldn't.
Really?
So I suppose
Because I'm
I was
relying on you.
wondering, Do you think you could train me?
Yeah, sure, no problem. We'll start as soon as we have the time.
Fantastic. Can't wait to get cracking.
Yay! Okay. That's the one for
And
the
away we
college?
go.
Okay, well... Can I not recover the Elder Scroll yet, then? Because Okay, what is the right order? Azuriah! Thank you so much for the raid! Welcome in, gamers! Hello! I don't know how puzzles work! Oh, happy birth-anniversary! Is it your birthday and your anniversary? Goddamn, double whammy! Hello! Happy birth-anniversary, gamer! I hope you're... What are you playing? Oh, special events. Oh, that makes sense. Alright, well, I hope you had a good stream, gamer. For those who are new in town, hi. My name is EB Games. I am... Well, we'll commit to it. I'm a Skyrim streamer. Because that's all I fucking play at this point. I love ladies with, big boobs. Oh, that's a cat. I love ladies with big... Oh, that's a twig. I love ladies with...
Careful.
medium-sized boobs. I love dragons and, yeah, yeah, that's about it. I was gonna have a quirkier intro, but I couldn't remember. So, we are trying to find the Elder Scroll, and I can't remember the way. Apparently, there's an order you're supposed to push the button. And you think that after playing this game for 7 billion gazillion years, I will remember where to push the buttons, but I don't. So, I'm just like pressing them until something happens. Because I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Can I do this one again? Cool. So, I think they need to like line up a certain way, but I don't remember. I don't think it's even streamer brain. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think I can figure this shit out on my own. Like, wait. Oh, it turned blue. It's blue. It's blue. It's blue. Wait. If it turns unblue, then we fucked it up. Oh, fuck. I fucked it up. It's not blue. Okay. Blue. Oh, you want to be blue so bad. Be blue. Okay, blue. Press this one again. Blue. Stay blue. More blue. Okay, so it's twice. Okay, hold on. I have to use my brain. Okay, this one. Okay, blue. Then we do this one twice. Okay. No, maybe not. Okay. This one. Maybe we only do it once. I thought we did it twice, but maybe it bugged out or something.
Maybe
Then this one.
somewhere down
Okay, it's still
here.
blue. No, it's not. Oh, fuck. Okay. We're gonna call in extra help. Hey, David.
What?
Do you remember how you press the buttons to get the Elder Scroll?
Did you already press them?
It reset on me. It turned blue, and then it stopped that.
This is the stupidest fucking puzzle in the hold on.
Figgy being fake to raid the vocal coach after a Skyrim stream, and she's been consumed by the Skyrim stream. Listen, from 9 to 6, vocal coach. From 6:30 to whatever, Skyrim. I always feel bad when people that find me through like my vocal coaching or lessons and stuff raid into me, because my streams, I've tried doing music education streams. I've tried doing like informative music ed streams, and Skyrim. It just all I do is stream Skyrim. I regret to inform you, there is no educational content here. Only Skyrim. Well, I guess it's part of it is like my vocal coaching stuff is my full-time job, so this is like de-stress, you know? I know you're a gremlin behind that thin veneer of an educator. Listen, it's not just me, okay? I've had people ask me, like I always have a lot of people. Oh wait, hold on. We're ready. Are we ready?
Middle right button.
Middle
Gaslight,
right.
gatekeep,
Okay.
girl boss.
Kitchen, thank you so much for the follow, gamer. Pillbugs have an amazing ability to tolerate ammonia gas, which they can pass directly through their exoskeleton, so there's no need for them to urinate. Oh, good for them. Okay, middle right button.
Okay, hit it again.
Again. Nothing happened.
Hold on. Hit it again.
Nothing happened.
Okay.
Just like keep talking and no one explodes.
Middle left button twice.
There is no middle left button.
Oh my god. You fucked it up.
How'd I fuck it up?
Hit the far right button.
Oh. Does that like reset it? See, it's blue now.
No, hold on. Step back.
Oh.
There we go.
Oh,
Now
okay.
hit that twice.
One.
The far left button will start glowing. Hit that. This puzzle is incredibly dumb.
Does they give you like any? Oh, there's no button. Oh, now it is. Okay.
They just start glowing after you mash it enough.
Ah, okay. There we go.
For a company full of level designers, this is a stupid level. And this is the apex of your campaign.
Oh, let's go! Yippee! Alright, time to absorb the knowledge. Yippee! Alright. Now that we have the Elder Scroll. Yeah, Lucian's right. We should go back to Barth next. Alright, time to read it. Let's see. But yeah, I always have some people that are always like, oh, you're a teacher? And you joke about piss and shit and cum on the internet? And it's like, I don't know how to tell you this, but every teacher I have ever met is the most unhinged bastard. Once we're not at school anymore. I think part of it is like, we're all just like trying to, we've been normal for so long and then we have to unleash all our fuckery. Wow. Was that it? Cool. Oh, I have to read it at the time wound. Oh, okay, cool. Sorry, I read it at the wrong place. My B. If you're not before you start, then the kids will drive you insane. True, and that's why I quit. And now I coach VTubers because they're nice to me. But also, like, I kind of get to be myself more when I work with VTubers, and that's half the fun, you know? Let's see. All right, time to dig. Archaeology time, and then we'll head back to Parthenax. Because I don't know if I want to just casually carry around the Elder Scroll for too long, to be honest. Nice to you, but also twice as mental. I mean, is every day super easy? No. There are still hard days, but I'm definitely, like, way better off than I was before. You know, I'm definitely a lot healthier than I was before. Foxes pee on everything, so the fox enclosure forever smells like piss. Aww. Let me see. Where do I need to go? Parthenax, right? Where is he at? Here we go. Oh, wait. Is it nighttime yet? What time is it? I need to summon boners. Here, let me get to a flat space. And then we gotta summon some boners. Okay. Oh, let me take my glasses off. Do I remember the button for it? Yeah. Okay. Let me get my boner summoning spell ready. Where is it? Conjure altar. Okay. It's nighttime. We should have the bones. We can create more boners. All right. Are you ready? Ready? Alright, let's see how many boners we... Wait, what? How am I missing one of each bone? What do I not have? Look how many bones I have. I've got the hip bone, the left arm, the left foot, the left hand, the left leg, the rib cage, the right arm, the right foot, the right hand, the right leg. Do I not? Am I still out of skulls? God damn it. I just want to create bone people. Yeah, it feels weird. It's just like in real life when someone takes off their glasses. My cousin a teacher and she's a massive party person. That's how you stay sane, bro. That's how you get through it, you know? All right, let's see. Here, we're going to take away my little marker. And then let's head back to the throat of the world. The throat goat of the world. I guess, yeah, alright, I don't even... Wait, they pee in their water bowls? Ew. Okay. Alright. Let's read this again. Hi, Parthenax.
You have it.
Yeah.
The Kell,
Yeah.
the Elder Scroll.
Yeah.
Tidkrech.
Guess what I got? Guess what I got? Da-da-da. Wait, each one up in price? Did they? I don't think I changed that. Let me check. I'll have to check, and I can see if I can set it back. Alright, let's read it again. Da-da-da.
There is no question. You are doom-driven. Kolgan.
Why is there no subtitles? I have no idea what the fuck he's saying. Oh wait, are we in Sovngarde? Oh no, that's okay, Zurian. Please have fun touching grass. Have fun. I'll see you later. Oh, okay. Tell me who you are then.
Today, Arduin's Lord.
Get out, fucking out. But thank you for hanging out. And thank you again for the raid. Please don't feel bad. You can just DM me. It's fine. Thank you for the raid. And I will catch you later. All right. Bye bye. Thank you. I made a knockoff whiskey sour. Ooh. Oh shit, he's fucking dead. Are you gonna fight back? He's just taking it. Yeah.
Know that Stormlight sent
But that's
you
okay.
down to death.
Are you guys gonna do anything? I wonder what people who are allergic to grass do. Sneeze a lot, probably. Are we? Wait, is that? I feel like something's supposed to happen. Am I missing something? Was something supposed to happen? How did I break it? I didn't do anything. Okay, well, it won't let me. It didn't let me quick save. I think your game is bugged. Okay, yeah, that would not surprise me. Let's try that again and see. Bless you, David. And see if we can. I don't know. Maybe it's because I read the Elder Scroll once already, but I don't think so. Let's try that again. All right, throw to the world. Quick save. And then bada bing, bada boom. Then we should be okay. Hopefully. Skyrim is always broken. Truer words have never been spoken. So let's see. We've been spotted while fast traveling. Oh, Nor. Oh, Nor. Wait, what?
Engaged. Let the killing commence.
Wait, why is there a saber cat up there? The fuck? Bro, you're just chilling with the big ass dragon? Oh, hi, Apple! Like, you want to decompress after getting home from my work shift? Ah, thank you, Apple. I appreciate you. I hope you have a good rest. Yeah, why would you? Why? That is literally Parthenox. Where'd he go? Are you? You are a cat. Why? Why would you take that
I
fight?
should really lay off on those sweet rolls.
Okay. Well, let's save, and hopefully, it won't break this time. If it does break this time, I'm gonna freak out.
Boss.
Bubbucks! Hi, Gamer! Thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate you. You're not guess I get you. Girl Boss, welcome in. Hopefully, I will not fuck up my Skyrim this time. All right, let's see. Elder Scroll.
With you.
I'm reading it. We're in the cutscene. Okay, we're time traveling. Okay. Please don't break. 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 Please don't break.
Gormley, running out of time. The battle.
So it's better already. Okay, we didn't get this dialogue before, so hopefully we're good. Cut that dog in. Fuck yeah.
Restored. But I honor your courage.
Okay, I think we fixed it. I think we just had to reload it because the dialogue is happening now. We didn't get that dialogue before. Free Skyrim! Oh shit. Yeah, now he's fighting. The first time he just like stood there. Yeah, get his ass. Get his ass! Fuck him up! Fuck him up! You can do it! Now you have a lady! Yeah, fuck him up! Fuck him up!
Stormlight sent you down to death.
Fuck him up! I believe in you!
Hakon! A glorious day, is it not?
Yeah.
Have you no thought beyond the blooding of your blade?
I don't know. I still
What
think
else
that's
is
pretty
there?
cool.
The battle below
I
goes
still think
ill.
we're
If Alduin does
pogging.
not rise to our challenge, I fear all may be lost.
You worry too much, brother. Victory will be ours.
Why does Alduin hang back? We've staked everything on this plan of yours, old man.
He will come. He cannot ignore our
I'm not gonna lie, I've never seen you play this questline. That's the thing, is I think like in all the time I've been streaming Skyrim, we have genuinely never made it this far to the main questline. Like genuinely. We either start a new fucking character or we just give up. Or the game crashes, or the save corrupts. We've never gotten this far, and I'm low-key. I'm proud of us, chat. We did it. I'm proud of us. Let's go.
Alduin cannot be slain like a lesser dragon. He is beyond our
Just like me for real.
Which is why.
Thank you. I'm glad you
brought the
understand.
Elder Scroll.
I just listen.
Feldir,
I honestly usually get really tired of characters after a while, but this is our 21st stream with this character, and I'm really glad we've stuck with her. I'm really glad we're going with the museum. I genuinely love this OC a lot outside of Skyrim, so I'm having a lot of fun with her in Skyrim and with Legacy of the Dragonborn. I'm glad we've kind of focused on that. Hi, Alduin. What's up? You come here often? I don't know. I once, like, can I say, well, I don't think this is TMI because it happened in the stream server. But one subathon ago, like, I think like a year and a half ago or something like that, one of the rewards was NSFW Art of My OC. Oh, we've got the quest. Cool. And I posted it, and it was pretty good NSFW art. I'm not gonna lie. They made me look like I knew what I was doing. And I asked, like, I think someone was like, would you do, like, NSFW art, like, requests? I'm like, I'm not opposed. I don't care. Like, my OC's based off me, but she's not me. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to see me in real life and see a 2D anime girl in front of you. Like, I don't mean to upset anybody, but I am four-dimensional. I do have all my dimensions intact, right? So I didn't really care. But someone asked me, and if you're in chat, you're based, actually, for this. I'm not judging you. Someone was like, would you ever consider getting art of you fucking Alduin? And I was like, you know? You know? Maybe I will. Maybe. Who knows? You know? I was like, damn, you really had... Like, he just went for it, you know? And I respect that. I respect the hustle, you know? Oh, fuck, he's killing all these people. Alduin, why would you do that? Alduin, no! That's illegal. Murder is bad. You can't do that, Alduin. No! I bet his ASMR would go hard, actually. You hear that heavy breathing? The ladies would love that. You could literally, like, I guarantee you, if you put like a hot anime boy over this audio, the ladies would love it. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. They'd be like, why can't he growl like that for me? I need a man to growl like that for me. Like, I guarantee it. I guarantee it. This really bad animation where the main character is 3D, but everyone else is 2D. I love that. That sounds incredible. Oh, shit! He's holding up the Elder Scroll.
By words with older bows than your own, we break your perch on this age and send you out.
Goodbye.
You are banished. Alduin, we shout you out from all our endings unto the last.
Goodbye, Alduin. Skedaddle. Get out of here. We need you to go.
You are banished.
He hath been banished. Okay.
It worked. You did it.
Yippee!
Yes. The World Eater is gone. May the
I love
spirits
Amazing
have
World of
mercy
Gumball. That's
on
a
our
good
souls.
fucking show. There's a Half Dragon race. Yeah, didn't they? Isn't the female version of Half Dragon not never nude though? Because I thought about playing it for a playthrough, but I don't want to risk her tits being out all the time. Because like a little bit of titty out I can get away with, but if we're just full tits all the time, anytime I change my armor, that could we're in trouble. Oh shit, it's time. It's fucking time. Let me just quick save real quick, cause can't believe I'm defeating Alduin on a random ass Wednesday. Like, if I knew we were this close, I would have, like, hyped it up a little bit more, but... Oh, Alduin's only level 33, what the fuck? Okay, I do know Dragon Rend. Let me get that shit out. Alright, do I have it? Did I click it? Yeah, okay, cool. Alright.
As much as I enjoy fighting, I
Come
really
down!
work on my files, so could you just
Land!
lie down and die?
Land! There's no battle music right here, and it's kind of bumming me out, low-key. Land! There we go. Okay, they're fighting. The girls are fighting. I can't do anything because, you know. Is he gonna come down?
Water bath, but I guess your blood will do.
Why is there no music? The fact that there's no music is kind of bumming me out. Okay, there we go. Here, can we, okay, I'm sorry. We need some tunes to fight Alduin too. I'm so sorry. I've got the perfect thing. Alright, it's time.
Hiya, Bobby.
Are we ready to defeat Alduin? Alright, let's go. Let's fucking go! Alrighty! Give me your blood! Oh, this is gonna get copyright claim, but it's gonna be so fucking worth it! Alright. Am I sucking his blood? I don't think I am. Give me your blood! Why is it not doing damage? Wait, it's actually so fucking loud. Hold on. Oh, no. It doesn't. There we go. Alright, come here, Alduin. Alright, just hurt him. Can't hurt him until you use Dragon Rend. Okay. Well, let me do it again. Alright. There we go. Now we're cooking. Oh, shit! Oh, they picked me up! Someone picked me up! Oh, thank you. Okay. We can do it! We can do it! Let me heal myself! Let me fucking heal myself! Oh, and it's healing hands! God damn it! Where is it? Fast healing. There we go. There we go. Am I stuck on a rock or something? Oh, god damn it, it bugged out! Okay, let's just try this again, because I fucked it up. I fucked it up so bad. I am letting Barbie Girl play through the Alduin fight. Will this get copyright claim? Yes. Do I give a shit? No. No, I do not. Okay. Alright, let's go. Alright, Dragon Rend. Let's go! Get down here! Alright, come on. Come on. I know we can do it. Get down here. Get down here. Alright, there we go. He should land soon. Do we have the ladies out? I don't think we have the ladies out. Alright, bring the ladies out.
You're not worth it to put in my record, so goodbye.
Okay, I need to heal myself back up. Actually, let's do this with both hands. Just so that way I can extra heal myself. Here, get down on the ground! Okay. No! Come back! Come back! Have you learned nothing? Alright, get down here. Alright, here we go. We're doing it. Oh wait, that's Parthenax! Shit! Okay, hold on. Oh, I'm sucking off the wrong dragon. Typical Wednesday. Come on. There we go. Got it. Okay. Come on. There we go. Now we're cooking. This is much better than the Skyrim combat music. I'm gonna be real with you. All right. Let's see if we can get him to land again. Get back down here. Fuck, I missed. Okay. Oh, Barbie Girl's done. Oh, I guess we gotta play it again. Let me set this to here. We'll do. What's another meme song we could play during the fucking Alduin fight? Let's do. Actually, this isn't a meme song. I just genuinely think this would fit really well. Are we ready? All right. We've got our big girl pants on. We're gonna do it. Escape from reality. Open your eyes. Look up to the skies and see. I'm just a poor boy. I need no sympathy because I'm easy come, easy go. Little high, fuck, little low. Anyway, the wind blows doesn't really matter to me. Alright, get down here. Come on, I missed! Mama just killed a man. Actually, I think the music is working, but I want this instead. Perfect. There we go. Mama, life had just begun, but now I've gone enthralled. Should I actually sing this, or can I just keep shitposting? Where'd he go? Mama, ooh, I'll try to take this seriously. Didn't mean to make you cry. Such a back again this time tomorrow. Carry on, carry on. There's nothing really mattered. Trying to get a good shot of him. Stop moving! There we go! There he goes! Come down! Come down! Alright, here we go. I'm not taking this seriously. Please don't take my singing seriously. I'll try to take it seriously now. My time has come. And shivers down my spine. Body's aching all the time. Get down here! Good night, everybody. I've got to go. Gotta leave you all behind and face the truth. Mama, ooh, I don't wanna die. Sometimes wish I'd never been born at all. Oh shit, I don't have any water. Alright, we're just raw dogging this, I guess.
Firstborn of Akatosh.
I see a little silhouette of a man. Scaramouche, will you do the fandango? Thunderbolts and lightning, very, very frightening me. Galileo, Figaro, no. I'm just a poor boy, nobody loves me. He's just a poor boy from a poor family. From his father's just a deep. Where'd Parthenax go? Easy come, easy go. Will you let me go? Bismillah. Oh, we will not let you go. Let him go. Bismillah. We will not let you go. Let him go. Bismillah. We will not let you go. We'll not let you go. We'll not let you go. No. Oh, mamma mia, mamma mia, mamma mia, let me go. Beelzebub has never put a sign for me. For me. Can't hit the high note, but that's okay. I've been screaming and teaching all day. So you think you can stop me and spit in my eye? So you think you can love me and leave me tonight? Oh, baby, can't do this to me, baby. Just gotta get out, just gotta get right out of here. I know that we finished the fight and it's not done, but like you can't stop Bohemian Rhapsody in the middle of it. That's illegal. You can't do that. So we have to keep going. I'm sorry.
Has been known as Dragon's Reach ever since.
Nothing really matters.
I have taught the way of the voice for centuries, and the Thum since long before that. But no, Dovahkiin. Others do not come.
Please do not take that as
anymore.
as any sign of my actual singing ability. My throat hurts after that. I was like, maybe I should take this seriously, and I just started screaming. I'm sorry, but thank you, Leo. I swear that's not my actual singing voice. Please look at my covers on YouTube if you want to hear my actual singing voice. Please don't take that as what it is. I'm shit posting. I have to sing seriously for so much of the day. God, that hurt my throat, but it was worth it. It was so funny.
As it fills your inner self.
Oh, fuck.
Will I teach you, Dovahkiin?
I don't know.
What word calls you to deeper understanding? There are 3 to master. Fus, Faim.
That's the thing is, I don't remember so much of the main quest. I genuinely didn't know that wasn't the final fight. I was like, damn, it seems kind of early for this should be the final fight for Alduin. Now we gotta pick a different song for when we fight Alduin with. Hello, Aqua! Welcome in. Yeah, always a good time to enter an EB game stream. She might be screaming Bohemian Rhapsody while fighting Alduin. Let's go with this one, because I feel like the Fus is the basic answer, because Fus Roda. Yol sounds kind of stupid. Let's go with the middle one.
Fade in your tongue. Mortals have greater affinity for this word than the Dove. Everything mortal fades away in time, but the spirit remains. Ponder the meaning of spirit, Unslad Zi. Where mortal flesh may wither and die, the spirit endures. That is fine. Let that meaning fill you. Sum Ark Mora. You will find that your spirit will give you more strength.
Yeah.
Which calls to you, Dovahkiin?
What about Yol?
In your tongue, that is the true meaning of Yol. Solyak, power.
I feel like we'd go for Yol then if it means power. Because that's Vanya's whole thing is like the ultimate quest for power. What would you do? Is that Comic Sans? Maybe. And what if
this as the fire
welcome in. You missed me singing Bohemian Rhapsody poorly while fighting Alduin. Yol is fire. Oh, I thought he said power. Oh, okay, I misread it.
What
I get it.
will you spare?
Let's
Which
do.
calls to you, Dovahkiin.
What's Fus? We'll read it.
It is called force. Think of the way force.
Sorry, I'm
may
like
be
skipping through it because I have ADHD.
That is Fus.
I'll play it out. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Sum Ark Mora. You
Let's
will push
do.
the world harder than
fine.
it
We'll do
pushes
fine.
Back.
we'll do that one. What is still playing? What is playing in the background? Something's playing in the back. I thought I heard something playing in the background. Like, okay, no, I didn't leave a tab open. I was like, what is that? What is that? Huh? Okay, whatever. That's okay. Alright, well, I guess we're good then. Cool. Alright. Well, we need to go... Here, let me put the music back on. Now we have to think of a different song for me to sing when we do the actual Alduin fight. Well, now we have to go see the Jarl of Whiterun. I have effectively destroyed my voice. Work tomorrow's gonna be a little rough. But that's okay. Was it worth it for the bit? Yes. Yes, it absolutely fucking was. So gamers, I look here with my posse. I take one more screenshot, I think, with her in front of the... Yeah. Yeah. One more screenshot. Oh god, look at her. She's so fucking epic. And then maybe... Oh yeah. Look at the whole crew! We got the whole squad! Alright. Gamers, I think this is a good place to end it for today. So I'm sorry we didn't get to play Cyberpunk and I forgot to update the game. We will play Cyberpunk on Friday. But damn, I did not expect a normal Wednesday stream to be this. This was a really fun stream.
Jesus,
So,
I can't even remember the number anymore. It's freezing cold. Can we please...
Recorder, I'm having my moment. You can be cold later. I'm being epic. Leave me alone to be epic, okay? Fuck. But anyway, thank you gamers so much for hanging out. I really hope you had a fun time. I had a lot of fun. Here, let me do my little switcheroo. But thank you guys so much for hanging out. Let me turn the background music back on so we're not just sitting here in silence. Because as we know, I hate that. But I will, if you are new in town, hello. My name is EB Games. I stream every Sunday, Friday, and Wednesday. I will be streaming again on Friday. Friday, we will be playing Cyberpunk 2077, which I've been meaning to get back to. We'll be doing Phantom Liberty. Sunday, we'll be playing this playthrough again. And we'll be continuing on. But thank you guys so much for hanging out. If you want to watch my VODs and what led us to this point, I do have a YouTube. If you want to read the book about this OC, I am writing a book. The first 2 chapters are out, and the 3rd chapter should hopefully be out by the end of next week. I'm almost done editing it. And then I also have some miscellaneous social media, and we have a community Discord. So feel free to check that out if you'd like. But let's see who we can rate, who we can share the love with. So let's see who's online right now. I'm waiting for Twitch to load. Last time it didn't let me raid, and I don't know why. So I don't know. We're gonna see what's going on there. Let me see. Okay, it did load. Let's raid. Oh, we'll raid Puds. Puds raided us the other day, and Puds is actually. Oh, it's Yuxi's birthday too. Is she still streaming? Is Yuxi still doing her birthday stream? Because if so, we will raid Yuxi. Let me check. Because it is Yuxi's birthday. She is streaming right now. Let me see. We will go... Let's go raid Yuxi. So Yuxi is one of my vocal students. She is very fucking talented. Oh my god, she is so talented. Please give her your love and affection, and we're going to make our raid. Happy birthday, Yuxi! And just spam that in her chat and show her some love because it's her birthday. I hope she shows you her birthday cake because her birthday cake is fucking hilarious. So, thank you again so much for hanging out, gamers. I will see you on Friday, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. All right, bye-bye, gamers.